What's going on, YouTube? So Lexus was one of the pioneers of the original luxury SUV as we know it, and throughout the years they have added more options. One of those new options is an all-new nameplate to the Lexus brand, known as the TX, which puts the ultimate focus on comfort and functionality. However, after many years, the long-running nameplate, the Lexus GX, is also radically redesigned, and is offered for about the same price as the TX. So that left us and many YouTube commenters wondering, which Lexus SUV is the best pick? Well, that's what we're going to find out in this comparison. So like I mentioned at the onset, these two have very similar pricing that overlaps. Beginning with the all-new GX 550, we have the fully loaded version, which is called the Luxury Plus trim. This version starts a bit under $80,000, and after we add a few extra options, we arrive at $83,895. Now for the TX, we have the 500h F Sport Luxury, which makes the performance, equipment, and pricing pretty similar to the GX. All told, this model rings in at $78,549. By the way, if you want to find the best prices in your local area on any new vehicle and see invoice pricing information, make sure to check out carconfections.com/newcarquotes. A link is in the description if you're interested. We will revisit the price difference later in this comparison during our value assessment. But for now, let's get into this weighted and objectively scored comparison. You will be able to tell as soon as you look at the exteriors that these two are very different. I'll speak to that more in just a second, but the styling certainly alludes to what's underneath. Both of them have new versions of the Lexus spindle grille, with the TX in particular looking different with its unified spindle. The F Sport model comes with some additional elements on the lower fascia, while there is no F Sport offering for the GX. As far as lighting, both of them have full LED headlights as expected, though the TX doesn't have the signature triple beam design like other Lexus models. Even though many rivals have been eliminating them, these two both have fog lamps as well. You're probably already noticing the difference in height, and indeed we have just under 1 inch more ground clearance in the GX. It's important to note that the GX is a body-on-frame traditional SUV with a great tradition of off-road abilities, while the TX is a unibody crossover that makes no such promises. If you want or need to head off the beaten trail, the GX's extra clearance, approach and departure angles, four-wheel drive system, locking diff, crawl control, and more were shown to be very capable off-road when we drove it. Because they do not share platforms, they are also very different lengths, which will have interior space and ride quality ramifications for us to talk about later in this review. For now though, you can see that the GX has a much boxier profile, and both of them have 22-inch alloy wheels. As we move to the back, we continue to see the contrast between smoother urban design and boxier rugged looks. Features-wise, they are the same, with small spoilers, exposed wipers, full-length LED taillights, and hidden exhaust outlets. There is a discrepancy in tow rating though, since the TX tops out at 5,000 pounds, while this GX Luxury Plus can handle 6,955 pounds. Now as far as some other features, both have fully loaded mirrors, and they both have the latest safety packages, which include every single active safety feature Lexus offers as standard equipment. Warranty-wise, both obviously have the Lexus reputation for being bulletproof, and are backed by the same length of time. Hybrid componentry is warranted all the way up to 100,000 miles. As cool as the exteriors are, the interiors are where you spend most of your time, so let's get to that. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
So walking up to the vehicles, both are obviously going to have smart entry systems with the same Lexus key fob. But as you grab the door handles, you will notice that the TX has electronic handles versus conventional ones in the GX. You also see power running boards deploy on the GX to make entry and exit easier. Now checking out the interiors themselves, as you can see, they keep with the same design themes from the exterior look, and they look quite different as such. That starts with the seats, where we have sporty bucket seats on the TX, finished in color contrast real leather, and flatter semi-aniline leather seats on the GX. The leather quality is higher in the GX, and it also gives you more adjustability since it has thigh extension on top of the normal 10 ways. Both models have heating and ventilation with memory functions, but only the GX has massaging abilities. Let's fully climb inside and talk about the overall cabin materials. Lexus has been moving towards using less wood in their interiors, so both of the models instead use a combination of soft touch plastic, leatherette trim, and in the case of the TX, suede inserts. Overall, both are extremely solid in build execution as well, so we will call this area even. Now after we start them up, you'll be greeted by two 12.3-inch displays that get slightly different graphics. And when you look up, there are also vivid head-up displays projected out. The steering wheels are almost exactly the same, except for the GX using traditional buttons over touch capacitive ones. Otherwise, they are both heated and power adjusting. Now for storage, and starting with the center consoles, our GX has the optional Cool Box, which acts as a refrigerator and isn't offered on the TX. But that aside, the TX has a multifunctional cup holder area, the GX has a passenger storage shelf, and both of them have wireless chargers. In this area, we find the electronic and traditional shifters, both of which pull up the same 360-degree camera system when in reverse. And now that we're in the screen area, I'll mention the 3-zone climate controls in the touchscreen and the physical volume knob for the Mark Levinson audio systems. Both of them have 21 speakers and impressive sound quality. Now, as far as the screens themselves, even though the shells around them are different, they are the same 14-inch panel. Software is the same as well, with built-in navigation, as well as wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Above all, both SUVs include digital rear-view mirrors, and both of them also have panoramic sunroofs, but with some differences. In the GX, it's actually a single piece of glass that cannot open like the TX. But it also has a cool technology that can turn it opaque or clear at the touch of a button. Now let's head into the rear seat area because these SUVs are often used for the whole family. The thing to remember about the TX is that it was really designed to emphasize these areas in an uncompromising way, versus the GX, which needed to include a lot of off-road prowess. You will see that right away in the second row, where it has 7.3% more legroom and 8.3% more headroom. Beyond the space, there is still a lot to talk about back here. Both these models have captain's chairs with cup holders in between them. And in the back of the center console, we have climate controls for the third zone. These Lexus SUVs have heated rear seats, but only the TX offers seat ventilation as well. Further down, we have two USB ports, but only the Lexus Texas has a household power outlet as well. Now let's move on to the third rows, which is a huge area of differentiation. First and foremost, both of these choose to only have 2 seats back here instead of 3 for comfort. But the actual experienced comfort is a night and day difference. Because of the GX's truck-based architecture, its seats are more like jump seats that just set on top of the ground. While much better than the last generation, it is still no match for the TX's third row. which seats are close in comfort to the second row thanks to ample legroom, headroom, and thigh support. Again, the TX will take the points back here. Moving around back to the cargo, both have hands-free power tailgates, but only the GX can pop the rear glass independently. Once open, this is one of the areas that will make or break the decision for a lot of you guys watching. How much space do you truly need? Because the TX is definitely an overachiever here, and offers huge capacity advantages with the seats in all three configurations. The max cargo advantage is 23%, and both of them have power folding third rows. So in this rapidly narrowing fight, each model has distinct advantages over the other. But what about under the hood? Well, these areas are pretty different as well. While Lexus says that the GX will eventually offer a hybrid version, for now all models are powered by a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 with 349 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. The TX, on the other hand, makes more power from less cylinders by adding a performance hybrid system to the mix. It has a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 2 electric motors for 366 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. That means the TX has a horsepower advantage and the GX a torque advantage. So we will let the tiebreaker be the fact that the TX is the faster of the two with a 0 to 60 of 6.1 seconds. Alright, here's a little punch of the accelerator. So what that means is you have that 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with a front electric motor, a rear E-axle. And this is making 366 horsepower, 406 pound-feet of torque. Obviously, very healthy numbers. It's going to be good for a 0 to 60, I believe it's 6.1
seconds.
6.1 seconds. I'm very close.
Yeah, that is a very quick 0 to 60, guys. And, I mean, certainly that quick punch of the accelerator before we had to stop in traffic, very impressive.
All right.
Nice.
Yep. That was an acceleration up to 60 miles per hour. Now, of course, like we were saying at the spec dump, one of the huge changes with this new generation is that we've ditched the old V8 and we switched to a twin turbocharged V6. To remind you what that is, 3.4 liter twin turbo V6, 349 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. So those are big jumps in terms of power and especially torque. So power is going to be about 50 horsepower. Torque figure is over 100 pound-feet.
Yeah, I think it's about 150 pound-feet difference compared previous gen to this one. And boy, let me just tell you, you can feel every bit of that difference when you put your foot down.
As far as the transmissions are concerned, the GX has a 10-speed automatic transmission, while packaging constraints with the hybrid system and the TX means it will make do with a slower shifting 6-speed automatic.
And we do have a 6-speed automatic transmission on board with this 500H. I think it is a very good mate to the engine setup because it's a very torque-rich engine, as we said earlier with the numbers, and the 6-speed automatic really just goes well with it. It shifts enough gears to get you the power when you need it, but also it's still refined and smooth, which I really appreciate. Also, I appreciate that this is a hybrid system with a traditional 6-speed automatic as compared to an ECVT.
There we go. Pretty nice. Like I said, you really feel that torque push you back in the seat. Now, let's talk about the other aspects of the powertrain. We also have a modern transmission to go with this new modern engine. It's a 10-speed automatic. This is a transmission that Toyota's used in some of their other truck architecture models, and it's a good transmission, really nice and smooth. Obviously, you have 10 different gears to select between, so you have a lot of choices in terms of that. But perhaps as important as power and responsiveness is ride quality. Both models are using adaptive dampers to help isolate out road imperfections, but the biggest difference simply comes down to the construction once again. While the TX rides like a cloud at all times, the GX's body-on-frame chassis means that ultimately, smaller vibrations and larger movements will more readily find their way into the cabin. Additionally, on-road driving dynamics are much better in the TX, since it can control its body roll much better.
And of course, this is a luxury SUV after all, so I do want to talk about ride quality. Now, Drew already mentioned a little bit ago that you do get adaptive dampers when you choose this F Sport Performance model, and right now we're riding around in sport mode, yet I still feel like it has very good ride quality. It soaks up the bumps very well. You know, now that we've accelerated up to speed, I do want to just go ahead and talk about your ride quality here. The ride quality for this Lexus GX, we've driven the Overtrail at this point, and also now we're in the Luxury Plus, so this is the most luxurious version of the GX. It is still a body-on-frame platform, so you will notice that when it comes to your ride quality. So if you're comparing this to something like a BMW X5 or Mercedes GLE, this is going to have a little bit worse of ride quality. You feel some vibrations going on, but honestly, I think a lot of you guys like that truck feel, and that's why you're looking for a GX, so that won't bother you.
Here at Car Confections, something we like to do is take sound level readings for all the models we test so that we can compare them. Both of our measures were taken on press events in states where we cannot control the road surface, so we look forward to testing them out officially in Kentucky soon. Until then, here are the samples that we collected for your reference.
And before we slow down there, going 55, we're sitting at a sound level reading of 50.8 decibels. Very impressive. Now, in this defense, we are on a pretty freshly paved road, but and we've settled in at an official Car Confections sound level reading of 59.6 decibels for the Luxury Plus version of the GX 550. Now, I say official a little lightly because we are here in Arizona.
Finally, when it comes to fuel economy, the GX's boxy shape means it stands no chance against the sleeker hybrid TX. The discrepancy is a huge 10 miles per gallon combined, both on premium fuel. Now it's time to revisit the price difference between these two luxury SUVs of $5,346. Since the average price between them is above $75,000, the TX will receive 1.25 points to account for this difference. As always, though, we will remind you that if cost doesn't matter as much to you, then feel free to disregard these points.
Even though these two are siblings, hopefully you can now tell just how different they are. Let's recap with some big pros and cons to find your personal winner. So the GX should be your personal winner. First and foremost, if you need or want that off-road capability. It's a very capable SUV that can do a lot of cool things off-road, and that's definitely going to far exceed what you can do with a Lexus TX. Also, you just have the general rugged, boxy looks that a lot of people are going to prefer. And then you have some exclusive luxury features, including massaging seats and that cool panoramic sunroof, which can change opacity.
Now, as far as the TX, that should be your choice if what you care about is the biggest amount of space. Obviously, that's really the reason why the TX exists, is to give you that maximum third row space, cargo space, all of those things. It's going to be much better than the GX. Additionally, it's going to be faster and have better fuel economy by a significant margin than what you get in the GX. So that's going to cost you a lot less over the years of owning the vehicle. Additionally, it has better on-road and handling when it comes to just overall driving dynamics because it's not a big square box like the GX. But we want to know your thoughts down below. Are you taking the all-new Lexus GX or are you taking the all-new Lexus TX? Let us know your thoughts down below. And if you're looking to buy either of these two vehicles or any new vehicle, we would want to remind you again to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, why you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealer negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description. And guys, that's going to be where we'll leave off on this video. If you're not already subscribed to Car Confections, we would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button down below. It helps us to make more comparison videos like this, and it also just joins you in on this Car Confections family. We do a lot of car content, and we have a lot of fun that you won't want to miss out on. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.